Hi, my name is Paul Sargent and welcome to AP Gov Bit by Bit, the series in which I'm trying to teach you American government and politics in small bite-sized pieces so that you can better understand it. Today, we're going to answer a really central question when we start looking at government, which is, do we actually live in a democracy? Now, in my last video, I sort of defined what a democracy is, and we like to throw the word around, but do we actually live in one? Let's figure that one out. Cue the intro. All right, so as you've already learned, democracy is a system in which the people rule. Now this can show up in lots of different ways, and we've talked about different ways with direct democracies, with indirect democracies, and things like that. But just as a very quick recap, a direct or pure democracy is when the people actually get to vote on all kinds of legislation. There is a government that implements it, but the people really make all the decisions. In a place like the United States, this becomes very difficult simply because of the sheer number of things that we do and the sheer number of people. The founders created an indirect democracy, or what you might more know as a republic. In other words, we elect people who will then make all the decisions for us and make the laws. And it's our power as voters that create the democratic side of this. So that leads to the question, how does the system actually work? Do the people really rule America, or is there something else going on? Well, there are three prevailing theories that you should know about going into the AP exam. We're going to take a look at pluralist theory, we're going to take a look at elitist theory, and then we're going to look at hyperpluralist theory. And I'll try and explain them as best I can. Now, of all the theories of how the government actually works in America, pluralist theory is probably the most optimistic of them. The basic idea behind a pluralist theory is that there are lots of different groups who have different interests and different concerns in the country. And because of the different ways that they have access to government, whether it's through lobbying, whether it's through protesting, whether it's through writing, whether it's through the court system, whatever, these groups all have access. And so we have a variety of opinions that come together. And under the pluralist model, all of these different ideas come together and are accessible by lawmakers. Lawmakers, who of course want to get reelected and want to make good policies, listen to all of the different ideas and the different sides on any issue and make informed decisions that are best for the country. In other words, the basic tenet of pluralist theory is that everyone in America has access to policymaking. And however they go about it, however we go about it, is up to us. And our effectiveness, well, that depends on our message and the way we deliver it. But we all have the ability to make positive change. So the second theory is called elitist theory. And, well, as you can probably guess by the name, it's not quite as positive as the pluralist theory. Elitists tend to believe that, yes, there is lots of access. Yes, there are lots of groups. Yes, those groups theoretically have the ability to make their voices known. However, it's the people who have access to actual policymakers in a real way that make policy. And those people are the elite. Now, we're typically talking about either political or financial elites here. In other words, big corporations, wealthy individuals, people who have been formerly big in government, former presidents, things like that. Those are the people who have access to the policymakers and can actually make a difference. For the rest of us, we can write letters all we want to, but because we don't have financial backing, because we can't sponsor campaigns, because we can't donate money, because we can't corral the resources that some of these people do, the problem is lawmakers don't really have an incentive to listen to a guy like me if I'm out there telling them that this is what I think should be done, because I'm not corralling resources that make any difference to them. I can't donate thousands and thousands of dollars to their campaign. I can't corral the support of hundreds of thousands of people. I can't put them in a situation where they need to cater to my interests. In fact, I can't even get into the parties. So I can't even talk to them. So the elitist theory says that it's only those political and economic elites that really have access to government. And because this is going to come up, they explain away things like welfare, well, all social welfare programs, with the very simple idea that in order to placate the masses, these things have to be done. And if the masses are given enough to make them happy and keep them relatively quiet, then the elites can go about and get done what will benefit them the most. It's not really a cheery, rosy view of the world or of America, but there are lots of people who believe that this is actually how it works. And finally, we come to hyperpluralist theory. Now, as the name, like the names, I mean, obviously, look, people who are political scientists are not exactly, in my opinion, known for coming up with the most sort of like out there names. They basically name things pretty much what they should be named, I guess. Anyway, hyperpluralist theory is pluralist theory. It does believe that groups have access. It does believe that there are lots of ways for these groups to get their message across, and that they're going to give different messages to lawmakers in order to try and get their agenda passed. But hyperpluralist theory says that this is actually a negative, that very little actually gets done. The other possibility coming out of hyperpluralist theory is simply a government that caters to everybody. They pass laws, they create programs, they do anything that people ask for in order to get reelected. And thus, you have a lot of policies that contradict one another. You have a lot of agencies that overlap and do the same work. You have government that's inflated and that works against itself and is very, very, very confusing. Neither one of those, again, is an especially positive message here. So essentially we have an unanswerable question. Like, there is no empirical truth to this question, but we do have different ways of looking at American politics. Who is it that really has the power? Do you and I have the power because we have access to government? Do we not have power because we don't have the money? Well, you might have the money, I don't know. I don't know who you are, but I don't have the money and I don't have the access, so I'll never get anything that I want done in terms of policy making. Or is it simply that the number of voices actually works against itself and is counterproductive to the functioning of good government? As for me, well, it doesn't matter what I think, because I'm here simply to get you to understand what this is all about. So hopefully I've done that. And so that's basically it. I mean, the running of our American system could be any one of these three theories: pluralist, elitist, or hyperpluralist theories. So take a look at them and see what you think. Anyway, that's it for now. I hope that I've answered your questions, and I hope these videos are helping. I hope AP Gov Bit by Bit is going to be something that starts to take off. So please tell your friends, spread the word, and subscribe to my channel. That way we can get this whole thing rolling and hopefully help a lot of people understand the system they live in, especially in these very turbulent political times. But for now, I just want to say thank you for watching. My name's Paul Sargent. This is AP Gov Bit by Bit. Have yourselves a wonderful day.